Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the ThePCelitist for our Sunday discussion.
Yeah.
Every Sunday for the rest of your life.
My life. It's a long time. Welcome back, everyone. This is Shepard. That is Woodsie. And today, I have a question. I'll basically give you the backstory of the question. So, EA was recently been given what award?
The Golden Poo Award.
Golden Poo Award.
By Consumerist.com.
For...
Which is, I know you always go there.
Yeah, that's true. For basically being the worst company ever. And a lot of people...
I just have to say, they beat out Bank of America.
Oh,
that was the fun...
Bank of America takes homes from people. EA takes $60 and runs with it.
Yeah.
For an unfinished product. So, in light of this, I think many people have disliked EA for many different reasons. One of the biggest ones, and this is the same reason they don't like a lot of gaming companies, is because they release unfinished products. They take your money now, and they know they can just patch it later. And they even charge you for DLC.
Right.
So a lot of people...
Same-day DLC.
Same-day DLC. Release day DLC. So a lot of people really don't like this. And I was reading an article today in one of the old... I've been catching up this weekend on old PC magazines. PC Gamer, CPU, Maximum PC, etc. And basically, what I was thinking about is, for these larger, more corporate companies that have shareholders, that have boards of directors, that are there to function like other corporations, if you have, in Q1 2013, this game is going to come out come hell or high water. If you have deadlines like that, if there are project delays, if engineers and developers don't have the time to put in all the features they want and fully test and flesh out the game and make sure it's really tight, that game's coming out on that deadline. And does that new corporate reality I think it's safe to say that is what's driving a lot of these unfinished products. But it appears that from the perception of gamers, it's we care more what the game is, not when we get it. Whereas a lot of these companies, it's we care more when you get it, as opposed to what it is. And is that corporate reality? Are we reaching the breaking point where indie developers are going to see this resurgence, where gamers are going to say, you know what, it's reached the point where we can't trust new big blockbuster releases. I'm going to wait and only buy from companies such as Blizzard, who release an album when it's done. We're not going to give you the release date until we know exactly when it is. If you have to wait 5 years for the next game, so be it. But we're going to make sure it's a great product. Almost all the time. Right. We're waiting to see on Diablo 3. Are we going to see this backlash, this continuum swing towards indie developers? If we do, what are the consequences? Are these big companies still relevant? So that's the thinking I had going into this discussion. I presented it to Woodsie, and I haven't heard all his thoughts on it yet, but I think he has some very interesting questions to pose to you all. So I'll turn it over to him.
Well... There's a lot of sides to that.
This is a question that could easily be a series,
right? But the EA type question and these big companies, I do think just the nature of the industry right now, they are becoming less relevant. How much less relevant depends on the game. Actually, there's games like Natural Selection 2 that can come out apparently with no parent company. It's just 8 guys in San Francisco working on the game. All the servers are independently owned servers, people running it. World of Warcraft obviously needs a big powerhouse behind it, because you can't just, I feel like making a massively multiplayer game and just throw it out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. They were relevant because of the distribution of games like just console games. Because console games hit their stride in the last 8 years. They just were, that's how you got games. And you needed a big company to distribute to Xbox and PlayStation. Mm-hmm. There's no way of getting around it. Not enough people had high speed internet to get them games any other way. But now, it seems to be that that's where everything's going. Everything's going to digital distribution. There's less of a need for these big companies to do this. And as there's less need for them to be involved, like, we need this game on the shelf Tuesday of whatever day, because next week there's something else coming out. We don't want to double up on that.
Yeah, we've timed all the marketing.
Right.
This whole massive campaign's been tied up in this particular release date because our board of directors has said X new category of products must come out Q1 20 whatever.
Right. You have to wonder, though, like, there will always be release dates. And there will always be those big games that those big companies make. But because of digital distribution, which the new consoles, and I know there's discussion on this, whenever they are announced, which they're all just rumor and speculation at this point, but whatever they are, they probably will be digital distribution. Because it saves them so much money not to have to stock every shelf. Not to mention, every person has to buy the game, versus you go down to GameStop and just constantly trading out games. You know what? I have to think that Sony and Microsoft aren't a big fan of that, even though they know that's their base.
Yeah.
That's lost revenue every time they're...
Yeah, why would they want you to buy the game 2 years down the road after it's been used? They want you to buy it within the first 6 months of release, if not the first week.
Right. And when you rebuy it, they're not making any money. GameStop
They're probably
is
making some tiny residual, but yeah, it's mostly
Yeah.
mostly massive overhead for GameStop.
Exactly. So, as everything goes digital and everyone's buying their own single copy, will they be more flexible with their release date? Because you don't have basically things on the ground. You don't have a ground campaign to get like, all these trucks need to get out there.
Yeah, you don't have a storefront to worry about.
Exactly. It's just, like flipping the switch. I know it's not as simple as just going, okay, you can download it now, but it's, compared to stocking the shelves across the entire nation and, sometimes the globe on the same day, it's hard.
Yeah, and I think that not just is it are consumers going to look more towards the more indie developers, the more 8 guys in the Silicon Valley who are just making a game. I wonder if, and again, in terms of who to blame, we love to blame the programmers, developers, publishers, the big corporations. I think everyone deserves a share of the blame, but I think that, and some of the articles I've read, and if any of you know anyone who is a programmer or producer or anything like that, they'd probably say the same thing, is that there are great people with great ideas about games that really want them to get into the game, into the finished product, and not released at some patch, a couple of months later. But because you're under these constraints, because like any other company, someone's out sick for a couple weeks, or someone makes a mistake, and all the engineers have to spend a week and a half trying to fix it. Things happen, and you can't always get all the features you want into a game. Or you have a boss who's really more of an MBA from Stanford, who's not, or even from a lesser university. He's not really interested in making games so much as he is in managing people who are making games.
Right.
And he's better at enforcing deadlines than fostering a creative environment of collaboration. So we can blame whoever we want, but I'm wondering, of the people who are having these great ideas and who want to put out a good finished product, are they going to get fed up with the corporate structure that kind of handcuffs them from being able to put all their great ideas in? Are they going to start, if economy permitting, if they have the resources to, are they going to say, I'm finally going to branch off and make that independent game company I've always wanted to make? I'm going to I'm going to be like Mojang and just, I have this great idea, I think I can put it on Kickstarter, get funding,
which is happening more and more.
Yes, it is. But I'm wondering if it has to work in tandem. I mean, there are already indie developers out there. I'm wondering, will consumers flock to them? And we also see a subsequent fleeing of really bright, driven people from these companies, these corporations, to the independent market. And are you basically going to see consumers and producers flood away from this more rigid structure of making games? And the question that spawns for me is, what kind of games will we see? Because they won't be as well funded. Right. But they'll probably at least be original, and they'll be honest.
I hope. Everyone agrees, I think, whether it's this generation or the next, everything will be digital eventually. And all games will be done digitally. This whole, going to the store and buying a game is pretty archaic, considering no one does that for music anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
You hardly do it for movies anymore. Mm-hmm. Why go to the store when you have Amazon Video?
Yeah, you have Netflix, you have iTunes.
Yeah,
gaming is going the same way.
It's disappearing, is what I'm saying. I think EA and Steam and good old gaming are going to be your platforms, and I think they're just going to turn into places where they're going to try to incentivize you putting your game on Origin. Whereas, like, oh, we want to get you on Origin because you're going to get a bigger marketplace. We're going to put ads out for you. They're going to be more going after the developers versus developers trying to get in with EA.
Mm-hmm. Because if you have limited resources to actually develop a game, how are you going to have the resources to pay a publisher and distributor to put your game on the shelves?
Right.
All you want to do is make that one finished copy of the game and replicate that however many times you need to. Even if you want to self-publish, you may not even need Steam. Of course, Steam opens the gateway for all these other gamers, as you just said. But even if you just want to self-publish, like Minecraft, where I only heard about it because you had found out about it, and just it's word of mouth, basically.
Right.
Of course, you just have to have all the servers to run it.
Well, I mean that's.
But with cloud computing going where it is and infrastructure as a service, it's all, as you've been saying, all pointing towards digital.
It is, yeah, and the EA is going to become less relevant. I mean, I wouldn't buy stock in them.
No.
After the Golden Poo Award.
Exactly. Buy stock in 3-8 Studios.
So, I mean, the question is not are they less relevant now? Are people going to be doing this now? It's like, how soon will they be not relevant?
Yeah.
It's more of a not if but when.
Yeah.
In my mind. I mean...
Yeah, as with any market shift, there are going to be problems. I mean, jobs will be lost, but jobs will be created. I mean, I'm excited to see where it's going. And for two people, you and me, who at some point in the future may dabble in game development. I know, there was a collective among the 405 of you. There was a... I'm really interested to see where it's going. So that's what we think about some possibilities. And we want to know what the rest of the community thinks. When I say community, I mean all of you.
Yes. Oh, and if you like this video, please thumbs it up. Add it to your favorites if you wish. The best way you could support this channel is by clicking the little subscribe button if you're not a subscriber.
The best way is for you to get a tattoo of our logo.
Oh, right.
And then have it be a conversation starter. And then tell people about it.
Right.
The second best way is to subscribe.
Yes.
Anyway, his name is Woodsie. My name is Shepard. We are the PC Elitists, and we are signing out.